Welcome to the pre-lab video for the Chemistry Review Lab. Now, you guys are going to be in groups of 3 or 4, and you might not necessarily start with part A or part B or whatever, but to be as most efficient as possible, you're going to start at various points in the lab. But in this video, you'll see me go in order. So part A is all about solubility, and it's what things are soluble in particular substances like water or hexane. And then we'll answer some questions about that. So what you're going to see here is you're going to have one of these tube racks with 4 empty test tubes, and with the water one, it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll fill it up with water, fill it up about to probably the wood part here. It's just the bottom part is filled with water. And once you have all 4 of those done, you're going to come over here and you're going to take each one of these different substances. We have oil, iodine, this is sodium chloride, and copper 2 chloride. And you're going to take just a little bit, one of these little scoops. And you gotta be careful. So if you want to take the iodine, sodium chloride, or copper 2, then I would take the jar or whatever over to the test tubes so that we don't spill. Some of this stuff is toxic, so we don't want to get it, all over the place. So we're going to take the jars with us, bring them over here, and then put just a little smidge in each one of these and see if it dissolves. And then you'll have a data table that you'll mark whether it was soluble, slightly soluble, or not soluble at all. Part B, you gotta be a little bit more cautious because part B involves hexane. So what one of your group members is going to do is grab one of these goggles. Don't worry, we've cleaned them. And the person, whoever is over here going to be doing the work in the fume hood, should be wearing the glasses. Now, what we want to do is make sure the fume hood is on. It should already be on, but the switch is right here. We just lift this up just enough to do our work, but just so our hands can fit underneath. You want your face behind the glass. And so what you're going to be doing is doing the exact same thing as you do with water, only you're going to be using hexane. Now, we don't have a lot of hexane, so with this, there's a test tube, pipette that is over here that you're going to fill up probably 1 full pipette, maybe 2 pipettes full, and then put them in each one of these test tubes and do the exact same solubility. Again, you want to be careful. You want to take the actual jar and scoop with you over here and then do the work under the fume hood, because hexane is flammable and it's a gas, and we don't want anything happening. The fume hood will be on and you'll be doing your work behind the fume hood. So when you're not using it, close the fume hood until the next group can do it. Now, after you're done with both parts A, hexane and water, you'll want to take your test tube rack out. There'll be a place to put the dirty test tubes so that new groups can get clean ones. So that takes us over here to then part B. Part B is got several different reactions, and in several of these cases, you'll be writing out the chemical reactions to each one of these. The first one here is taking limestone, which is a calcium carbonate, and dropping some hydrochloric acid on one of the stones. These are just rocks. So you just take one of them out, put them in there, drop some hydrochloric acid on it, see what happens, and then go ahead and write the equation for it. Over here is dealing with a chemical reaction of putting basically changing water into carbonic acid by adding CO2. So what you'll do is just fill up 20 milliliters of water And then this is bromothymol blue, which is just an indicator solution for pH. And you'll put, I know it says 5 drops. I think I did 15. 15 seemed to work. So you can really see that color change. But 20 milliliters of water, 15 drops of that. Stir it with your straw. These straws have been cleaned, so each person will get a new straw. Just kind of stir it around, and then what you're gonna do is blow in it for about 60 seconds. Actually, before you do that, before you blow in it, you're gonna take the pH meter. The cap comes off, this black part comes off, and it actually just stands in there. You can just set it inside the jar like that and read the initial pH, and then blow in it, blow bubbles in it for 60 seconds, and then you're gonna re-measure the pH. You should also see a color change, but then we wanna verify it with the pH stick. The water's right here. This is water. You just pour that in there so you don't have to use the sinks. And then discard your used straw. Just put it on the side there so we know that it's used and so kids don't use it again. And then the last one is to find these 4 unknown substances. So what you're going to be doing is a couple things actually. First, you're gonna be testing the pH of all of them. So make a table of unknown substances here and just dip it in. As long as the electrode that's in there is submerged, it'll work. Hold it until the pH kind of levels out for all 4 of these. Measure the initial pHs, and then you're gonna take a pipette of each one and just put 1 full pipette in this dish. And then this is phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein reacts, well, you should know from chemistry that it changes color in the presence of bases. So we can put the drop in there and see if it changes colors, and we know that it is a base. But based on the pH alone, you should be able to tell whether it's a base or not. And then, just for fun, these are the actual 4 substances. I'd like you to take a guess as to which one is which, and then write the common name for these formulas. Obviously, this one should be easy, but the other ones might not be so easy. That's just sort of for your information. So that is a lab. Make sure you are safe, follow directions. If you are confused or have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. We want this to be done right. So make sure you have everything done properly. And then just make sure at the end of the lab, we'll clean up. Once you're done, you can go back to your seats and fill out the rest of the questions. So thanks.